Hi guys, in this lesson I'm going to talk about how you can use motifs to make more interesting melodies in your 2-5-1 lines. If you can already improvise over a 2-5-1 or over a standard and you know your arpeggios and you know your scales and you know all the positions and stuff like that, you're probably becoming aware that you need to work on not only those technical skills that you need to improvise over a song or over a progression like this, but you also need to work on some strategies for making melodies that make sense, so that you don't just end up playing solos that are random ideas stringed together and then hoping that it all sounds good. One of the techniques you can use for this is motifs, and it's a very strong idea, and it's used really a lot in composition, and also if you check out improvisers, they'll use it really often because it is one of the strongest ideas for for creating melodies that people can relate to and to create a larger context of a solo. So I already made one lesson on using motifs on a blues in F that you can check out. I'll link to it here. In this lesson I'm going to take a 2-5-1 in the key of B flat, so that's C minor, F7 altered, B flat major 7. And then I'm just going to go over 5 examples of how you can use motifs when you're making a line over this progression, and try and discuss some of the ways that I work with this, and give you some ideas how to work on it for yourself. So the first example sounds like this. So the motif here is actually the whole bar, which means that the original motif is, which is shape-wise, I think of that as being an arpeggio with a leading note, and then this sort of scale fragment. In this case it's a pentatonic scale, and the way I repeat it on the F7, first this, and then not a pentatonic but just a normal scale one, and then resolving that. So it's not really an exact way of moving the motifs, and I think this is something that's important to train also, that sometimes you'll change the motif a little bit just to make it more logical. If you move stuff around completely systematically, then it's not going to sound nice probably. So you have to have some sort of a feel for how can you make it fit. I guess the only way to really practice with this is just to sit down and compose a lot of lines with motifs, or just try and use them a lot when you're improvising, whatever approach works for you, I guess. And then notice when it works and when it doesn't work, of course, because that's kind of what you need to remember. Let's look at the second example. So in the second example, the motif is again the complete C minor 7 line, and this time I'm really using it to generate a line on the F7 by voice leading it, which is maybe not strictly the right term, but what I'm doing is I'm taking this phrase, and then for each note I'm just playing the corresponding note that's close to it in the F7 alto scale, which means you get, and then resolving that to the 9 of B flat. And you can also tell that when you do this, you really get from this, it's very C minor 7 looking to me, this line based around this arpeggio, and the arpeggio that the next line will be based on is then the B7, or the tritone of F7. Example 3 sounds like this. So in this motif is in fact the first part of the C minor line, and then it's followed up by this statement, and then what I'm doing is I'm kind of repeating something that's really close to it. In this case it could have been maybe good to use exactly the same scale, so no alto dominant, but since we have the alto dominant, I just voice lead the motif. You can anyway move it down a half step, so I play exactly the same, and then to resolve I play another ending to it and then resolve that to the 3rd of B flat major 7. The fourth example sounds like this. So in this one I'm using a motif that I can displace rhythmically, and the way I made that is by taking a group of notes, that's 5 notes. So I have this group, and I play that twice, and then I'm sort of voice leading that or moving that to F7 altered by playing it like this, and then it easily resolves to the major 7 of B flat. And the whole idea of using rhythmic displacement is also really strong. It's a little bit hard to demonstrate again on 251 because it's only 2 bars long. But at the same time, this is something that's really worthwhile developing for almost any style of playing. You need this if you're improvising. And also within your 8-note lines, to just have stuff that moves is really something that can create like a nice rhythmical tension and some sort of surprising melodies that'll keep people listening to what you're doing. The 5th example sounds like this. So what I'm doing here, well, there are 2 things actually that are at work here, but the most important thing is that if you listen to a 251, to me it's distinctly moving down. So if you make a melody that's moving up, a strong melody that is moving up, then you can make something that sort of sounds more like it's going against the grain and needs to resolve, and it creates interest and a bit of melodic tension. And motifs is really nice to use for that, so you can, because you can kind of, if you were able to move motifs around fairly freely, then you can easily move them in the opposite direction of where the harmony is going, and this can be very useful. So, and also something just to think about when you're working on lines, in terms of, can I actually make a harmonic or a melodic movement that's the opposite of the harmonic movement, which is mostly that you need to move stuff up instead of down, because harmony has a tendency to want to resolve down all the time. And that's what I'm doing here. The other thing that's happening is that I'm using a 3-note grouping and then just moving it through the changes. That was 5 examples of different ways to use motifs and some of the effects, melodic effects you can create with them. I think this is a fairly important subject, even if it is a bit advanced maybe, because you already need to be able to play over these kind of versions in several positions and have some freedom, both technical and melodic, within them. But still, it's something that's worthwhile working on, and actually if you look at the concepts and try to translate them to 1-chord vamp, then you can still use them there and make something out of it. So I hope you can use these things to these ideas to make your own lines that contain some of these motif ideas. It's at least something that's really going to help you tie your solos together in a larger context, and not just let you play random bars or isolated bars next to each other, which is something that is not really that great for a solo, in my opinion. If you want to download a PDF of the examples I went over here, then you can go to my website. There's a PDF download in the article that is accompanying this video. On my website you can also subscribe to my newsletter if you want to stay up to date with the lessons that I make here on YouTube, and where I'm playing, if albums are coming out that I'm playing on, or if I make a new lesson for my web store, because I have lessons for sale on my web store. You can check that out too, of course. If you have any comments or suggestions for topics, they're very welcome. It's really nice to get some feedback, and I actually do get quite a lot of nice feedback from people who are watching my videos. Then you can connect with me on social media. I'm on Facebook and Twitter and Google Plus and Instagram. And of course you can also leave a comment here in the video. If this is the first time you watch one of my videos, check out my channel. I publish a new lesson every Thursday. And I have been doing so for quite some time, so there's already a lot of lessons covering a lot of stuff around jazz guitar and other things about improvising with guitar, chord voicing, stuff like that. So that's about it for this week. Thank you for watching. Until next time.